and talk a little bit about this topic on how to create a focused workflow within your content business. Now, this is really critical for individuals who are always thinking about their business, who are always up late at night, having ideas flow to them to a point where it's uncontrollable, or maybe you are having a conversation with your spouse, with a friend, or whatever, and just ideas keep flowing to you, and it's a little bit of like, not a lack of ideas, but almost too much ideas to a point where it's really causing you to not be present in your day-to-day activities. Now, I know this from a deep, dark place where it comes to lacking presence within my life because the consumption of my business is just too much. So if you're a place where I don't want to be overwhelmed, I just want to have creative flow that is focused throughout my day, then this is the great video for you to watch. So without further ado, go ahead and like and subscribe this video. It really helps a lot. Turn on the notification bells because it goes a long way in supporting this channel. So if you are a content creator who wants to create passive income through evergreen traffic, content automation, and paid digital products, then you come to the right place. So let me get off my spiel and my soapbox. Let's talk about how to create a focused workflow within you and your content business. So let's kind of talk about a little bit where you're at right now. So when it comes to creating a focused workflow, there are a lot of ideas that come to you. You can get ideas through books, through TV shows, through movies, through talking to people, right? Basically think of your day-to-day activities as your playing ground for idea creation and consumption, right? So you have to love my drawings here, but what happens is you have this playing ground of all these ideas come to you to a point where you're talking to someone and all you can do is you can think about your business. And what is happening there is you're lacking presence in your day-to-day life, even in your conversations. And you can tell, or people can tell when you're not paying attention to them, right? Because maybe you are, spacing out when you're thinking about your business, or maybe you're really just like not paying attention whatsoever because you're lacking presence, right? So when it comes to lacking presence, it really can take a toll on your mental health, right? So we want to be in a place where we are present and we are aware and we are more focused in our conversations with our spouses, friends, and even with ourselves, right? So let's talk about the new way of creating a focused workflow within your business. So when it comes to creating a focused workflow, you have your playing ground, right? You have the playing ground of your ideation, you have the books, the TV shows, the people, the conversations, so on and so forth. Now, what you want to do is, instead of just letting the thought ruminate in your mind, right? Because sometimes we impulsively act on our thoughts because we're afraid if we don't act, if we don't create content for the idea that we have, then we can't recall it, right? So we want to create an opportunity for recall. So what I like to do is I actually like to create a digital notebook, right? So digital notebook is your phone. And you can use the traditional iPhone apps. I personally really like Daily Notes. It's a way for me to take all my notes at a glance, but really think of this as an opportunity where it's notes on standby, right? So say, for example, you're having a conversation or an idea came to you. Instead of you ruminating and try to think on that thought, write it down, right? And what this is going to do is actually imagine yourself taking the idea and putting it onto digital paper, actual notebook, analog, whatever works for you. But because you're writing it down, it's no longer ruminating in your mind, but it's onto paper itself, right? And so that really just gets the thought out of your mind. The second thing that's going to happen is really take a day, and I say this like wholeheartedly, take a day out of the month, right? I only create content maybe like once or twice a month, and that's like a whole separate article that you can read on, but designate one day where you're reviewing all the ideas. And what this is going to happen to you is you're going to see all these lists of ideas that come throughout the day, and you're going to think to myself, wow, like this idea was good, or this idea was not as good as I thought of, right? So it allows you the opportunity to review your notes, but also to review your ideas itself. But it's creating that boundary where it is focused. So instead of you always thinking about your ideas, you know that on the first of every month, I'm going to go ahead and review and pick my ideas, so on and so forth. right? So from that point on, I want you to pick a number, right? I only like to write 8 articles a month on Medium, and henceforth 8 videos. So these videos correspond to my articles, but I only really pick 8 ideas out of the 30 plus ideas that I have on a monthly basis, right? Assuming that I have 1 idea per month, which is probably a lot more. But in any case, you pick the number and you actually pick the ideas. Think of this as the ideas who've made the final round. Now, once you have the round of ideas, really take the time to write out your content. Pick and create an outline, right? You have the number of ideas that you want to have. Go ahead and break them down into outlines of really flushing the idea through. Instead of thinking it through your mind, I personally really like to do a mind map, analog, which is like pen and paper, right? Or some people like to use software tools. I just like to keep it simple and just have a regular notebook where I write all my ideas out and really just flush all the ideas from there. Now, the next thing you can go and do is you can go ahead and create the content itself. Now, this may take you a couple of days, depending on your workflow schedule and your energy cycle, but I really don't want you to overthink this. If you're like, Tina, this is too much for me to write my content and also create the content all in one go, then what I like to do is I really like to break down, like, for example, we're going to go with the example of the 8 articles. I write 4 outlines, or I pick the ideas and write all the 8 outlines, and then I really only focus on like 4 articles, creating 4 articles one day, and then the other 4 articles on the second day. And the next week I'll create the 4 videos for those corresponding articles in the first of the day, and then the remaining 4 videos for the corresponding leftover articles, right? So really, like, take the time to schedule and plan when you create content, because in order for you to focus your creative juices, you need to take the time to actually create a schedule, create boundaries for yourself, but create boundaries on when your work hours work so that you're not overworking, right? So create work hours that work so that you're not overworking. So without further ado, really what this is going to allow you to do is take your ideas, really create a kind of systematic process on how you go from idea to creation, but it's also going to give you opportunity where you can stay more present in your life, because when the thoughts are out of your mind and onto paper, it allows you to be more aware and more present with the conversation that you're having with the said individual, right? So this is how you create a focused workflow within your content business. Go ahead and like and subscribe and push the notification bells so you can get all the updates on how content creators create passive income through evergreen traffic, content automation, and paid digital products. I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much, CEO Babes, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.